talk for just a minute about money for the IRS. Thanks to a 1-2 punch from Republican budget cuts and lobbying from corporations and rich people who don't want to be audited, the IRS today is stuck with 1970s computers and staffing levels, unable to do its job and unable to audit wealthy tax cheats. That underfunding also causes honest, hardworking Americans a lot of grief. According to the IRS, the average American spends about 13 hours and $240 every year just to file their taxes. 13 hours, $240. And sure, some people have complicated taxes that take time. But for maybe about half of Americans, taxes could be as easy as looking at a form the IRS has already filled out, showing your W-2 and 1099 income, then using the standard deduction and common tax credits to calculate how much you owe or how big your refund will be. If you don't agree, check no, fill out your own form. If you do agree, check yes, and you are done. Easy peasy. But the IRS does not have that kind of easy peasy program. Instead, years ago, the IRS cut a deal to send taxpayers to companies like Intuit and H&R Block to figure out what they owe. And in return, these companies were supposed to make free tax filing for 70% of American taxpayers through the Free File program. Secretary Yellen, what percentage of taxpayers actually use Free File right now?
I believe that last year about 4%.
About 4%.
4.
That's right. So it's supposed to be 70%. Turns out it was 4%. And you know that is not an accident. These companies deliberately sabotaged the Free File program and steered people to products that they could charge for. Now, companies like Intuit and used misleading advertising, hid free products from Google search results, all so that taxpayers had to spend more money to figure out how much they owed. The Federal Trade Commission has now sued Intuit over its bogus advertising of free tax filing software, and last month the state attorneys general extracted a $141 million settlement from Intuit for these scams. Now, these swindles are just one reason why the GAO recently recommended that the IRS develop its own alternative to Free File, stating, quote, "The IRS faces mounting risks by continuing to rely on the tax prep industry to provide free tax filing services," end quote. So, Secretary Yellen, it sounds like the Free File has worked out great for corporations like Intuit, which raked in billions of dollars. But do you agree with the GAO that the current system is not working for American taxpayers and that it's time for the IRS to develop a real Free File program? Or let me just ask this more directly. If we can get you the resources, will you commit to developing a Free File program that actually works for American taxpayers?
So, look, I'm absolutely agree with the comments that you made about Free File. It hasn't worked. We need to develop a new system. There's no reason in the world that a modern economy shouldn't have a system that makes it easy for such a large group of taxpayers to file their returns. Beyond that, I would also add that it's important that households be able to access the benefits that Congress often wants to provide, like the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit when that was available, the economic impact payments, and for individuals who don't have to file tax returns, this can be extremely difficult.
So I'm loving everything you're saying, but I'm still listening for the part that says, if we can get you the resources, will you commit that the IRS will build its own Free File program and make this available to Americans across the country?
We're certainly looking into it, but I want to make a point, which is that the IRS is under siege. It is suffering from huge underinvestment. It has massive problems that it's dealing with. Right now, our number one priority is dealing with the backlog, a huge backlog of tax returns. The IRS right now doesn't have the authority to hire the people it needs to deal with
Madam
the
Secretary,
backlog.
look, I'm not
And it
somebody
doesn't
who's
have the
attacking the
technology that
IRS.
it needs.
I'm trying to get you the resources that the IRS needs so it can go after wealthy tax cheats.
We need
But what
all
I'd
of
like
that.
to know is if we're going to fight for the resources to get them over to you, and the resources are available, will you commit to build the free file program?
It's definitely a priority. It's definitely something we should do, and when the IRS is adequately resourced, it's something that will happen.
Well, I think it's something we need to do. Look, I have a bill, the Tax Filing Simplification Act. I'm going to reintroduce it that would require you to do this. But I just want to make clear, you could do this. If we get you the money, I'd really like to see this happen.
Warren.
Treasury has the authority now and needs to use it. Thank you.